welcome back. So, you guys have been cooling your heels in Fermerige,
Sure have.
while Potter and Raphael go on an investigative mission. It is a week, a full 7 days before word returns, and it returns in the form of a limping, beleaguered Raphael who has a terrible tale to tell you. Um, as his wounds are being addressed, probably by our doctor here, he
Never.
confesses. Sorry?
Sorry, that's an old meme joke. You will never guess what happened.
Yeah, basically. Um,
I went searching for his brother, and you won't believe what happened. Just go clickbait with it, yeah.
yep, exactly. You won't believe what they found. So, what did happen? Raphael tells a tale of making it into the Enclume city, disguising themselves as just mere mercenaries, travelers passing through. They said that there were signs everywhere of of bounties out specifically for high-ranking levure household knights, family members, and that they heard vicious rumors that Bruce had been taken captive and was being kept in the dungeons beneath the town city castle. Potter was brash and foolish. He believed for some reason that this was the only way that he was going to earn your respect. And so rather than falling back, calling in on reinforcements, he attempted to infiltrate the dungeons himself and was captured. Raphael barely escaped with his life, but was unable to return with Potter. He apologizes for breaking his oath to you there, Connor. And he says that it is quite likely, if Potter is not dead, that he is captive too. But he can attest that with his own eyes he saw your brother Bruce held captive in one of the dungeon cells, looking quite the worse for wear.
Oh dear, this is terrible. Poor Potter. If only he had retreated. Um,
I don't know. Does Potter might have a believable ransom? Isn't he officially Connor Squire?
He is official.
mm-hmm. Which city did this take place in, by the way? Just so I'm
All
looking on
right.
the map properly.
The city of Enclume, about 3 days travel to the west. Where's my pinger?
This one. Yeah, I see it now.
Pinger.
Yeah, right there. All right.
Yep, and you're all familiar with Enclume. They are the most famous uh weaponsmiths in the Avoirdupois land. Um,
Odds are pretty good this rapier was forged there.
right? Um, and the last you had heard, this is going back a ways now. But if you'll recall, very early in our days, had recovered a Rinaldi heirloom sword, and I believe during one of Anushka's visits to the Triskellion capital, castle, I suppose, the Rinaldi castle, that you heard that the sword was being delivered to the Enclume as part of some bargain that was struck. The Enclume were very, very keen on learning the secrets of its construction, an art that apparently was lost centuries before. So, yeah, and that's the last. I mean, and then we heard back from them when they were bringing accusations against the Fer Rouge for stealing their smithing secrets, which the presiding prince, I think, um, found that Fer Rouge was innocent of those charges, and the Enclume representative was none too pleased by this news.
See them stoop so low. I almost don't feel bad at all about planning to go over there and kick some ass.
Well, to be fair, Connor, Potter did attempt to invade their dungeons.
Yes.
that he's captured makes sense. However, they did capture Bruce, and I suppose he's probably innocent of whatever charge they're bringing to him. Actually, this would be a question for our man who just came back. On what grounds are they holding him? What?
He pulls out a letter, and this letter bears the official stamp and seal of the Enclume family. Actually, maybe that doesn't make a lot of sense. I'm trying to think about the events as they unfolded. Yeah, scrap that. No. Raphael was only briefly able to communicate with Bruce while they were attempting to spring him from the dungeon. And apparently, Bruce said that they they're holding him as ransom to get what they were owed in reparations from Fermarouge, from the Levere family. He's curious that they have not received that Raphael had not heard of the ransom proper yet, because he says that they've been holding me here for over a week. It is inhumane, it's cruel and unusual, and I knew that you guys would. I knew that my family would come and pay the ransom, but I wondered what was taking them so long. So.
So that's very interesting. You think that they would be right on top of that, especially if they're looking to actually get the money for it. But it is interesting. Their prince has already decided against their favor, and taking such actions is certainly going over their head. I don't imagine they would take kindly to it, so they are in the wrong at the moment. I suppose if the Fermarouge ever wanted to, take action legally and slowly, they certainly could, but I imagine Bruce is not very happy with his conditions.
No, he looked half-starved. Chained like a common criminal. It wounded my heart to see a man of the cloth, and a beloved member of the Levure family, treated as such.
Well then, Connor.
Report to Connor's father, first of all.
Yeah.
To see what he has to say.
Go relay the information to your family. I'm sure they'll want to know what's happened.
Yeah. Andre Levure is basically seems to recede into himself at this news. He gets very, very quiet and very withdrawn. When pressed, he will finally say to dispatch emissaries at once to negotiate the ransom and the release of my son Bruce. And then he will begin to he'll begin to ask questions of his court, like, where was the ransom notice? Why was I not informed of this sooner? Every moment that my son is in chains is a failure, a failure that we all share.
What's this?
Well, I guess right now he's talking to his court. He's not talking to you. He's talking to like the guys who lost the letter.
Alright, you get to just watch the nobles on blast right now.
Yeah, nobles love to talk.
But yeah,
I'm more worried about Potter because I care about Potter.
I do too.
Poor
Such a poor
Potter.
little boy. Say, as he's probably clearly like 15 or 16.
yeah. He's
like,
a
nah,
lad.
let's keep treating him like he's 9 or 10.
I thought he was older.
Yeah.
I think it was
he's
always very
definitely-
undisclosed.
I think when we introduced him, he's like a high schooler. He's like 17 or something.
Yeah,
Unless
I was
I'm
able to
misremembering.
He's not an adult yet. I thought he was adult.
I'm his
but we-
elder. I can call him little for as long as I want.
I can't believe we were taking him on dangerous bloodshed missions, and he's not even of majority.
To be fair, he hasn't actually contributed in a lot of the fighting.
And he was technically only to go there and do some investigating, and he took it upon himself as a precocious youth, eager for adventure and action, to go and do a dangerous mission where he tried to invade a castle and its dungeon and retrieve a prisoner by himself with one other adult who apparently did not say no.
I
Well,
tried to stop him.
um,
Right,
well,
nothing on you.
if he hasn't escaped or convinced them he has some value, he's probably dead, but perhaps a prisoner. Well, I think it's the office of Connor to decide how to proceed.
Well, part of me wants to just say, let's go storm the castle, as it were, and I'm trying to think of better ways to go about this.
Well,
Because if there was a ransom sent and it never got here, that's one thing. But if that was just a ruse to placate Bruce, I believe it is Bruce that's in there, then they might be keeping him for some other nefarious reason that might mean that we should actually storm the place and get him out of there before the Equimay can do what they wish.
well, unless you're suggesting a full military campaign by your family, which, by the way, is might even still be ready to go in town. It has been a few weeks. I don't know if they've actually left by now. If we were to just storm the castle as ourselves, it's possible we could get in and grab him. However, on the way back, I have no doubt that they will marshal forces which will probably run faster than my stubby legs. They will catch up with us in the open field, and they will have more men. The return is more dangerous than the mission, assuming we have Harmon.
What you need are some genets. Get those getaway mounts.
Well,
Right.
I don't know how to ride.
I don't either, actually.
I guess you can fly at least, Anushka, so maybe you don't need a genet, but
Not worried about me getting him, but it's like if you want an expedient, what you might want is you might want a fast carriage to get out of there. But of course, I don't have vehicles either, so I'm not, a carriage driver or a rider. So you could just also just flee on foot and travel swiftly.
Right. But if it comes down to a bunch of armed horses charging us down, I don't think we can go fast enough.
Well, what we have to do is we have to retreat out of the plains. That's where you move to either the hills or the forests.
Right.
Where
That
there's
would definitely require just figuring out a path entirely based on geography, then, which,
Well, yes, because if you look at Abertois Domain, it's almost entirely plains. Isn't that crazy?
yeah, it's as if this is the perfect scenario for. It would be
Yeah,
foolish to attempt such a thing.
wacky that.
hmm
But this is Connor's honor. I mean, speaking as a commoner, I could just, sip my tea and ponder the unfairness of this universe.
I
Right.
guess we can go there under the at least initial trying to think of the word. Well, initially try to go down there to negotiate their release.
Though I wouldn't put it necessarily past them to pass up the opportunity to capture another son of your father's. When with additional leverage, they may even get all the things that they want.
Andre, the Baron, your father.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Sorry,
It's okay.
I don't know where this conversation is taking place.
I don't either, so go ahead.
If it's the kind of thing where he's privy to this, or maybe even anticipating the notion of you going, he will be fully against it. he'll say, I've lost one son. I refuse to lose more. Connor, you are to stay here. Respect your father's wishes. We will deal with this. We will pay whatever ransom those fiends uh, claim from us, and we will return our boy. And then we will get the law. We have the law on our side, and we will deal with them as such. But it's far too dangerous. I'm sorry for your young squire. He was brave, perhaps a little foolish, acting above his station. But that is, we must consider what is best for the family, for Bruce. And it seems at that point that he can bear it no longer, and he will excuse himself from chambers. 2 chambers?
Yeah.
Only afterwards does Connor clench his fist and give the damn it face.
Yeah, does it in private. And of course, I will attempt to console Connor and go, your father does speak wisely. It would only put you and your family in further danger, wouldn't it?
It would.
I'm sorry that things have come to this. I truly have sympathy for you and your family.
Don't doubt that. I just wish there was more I could do.
Hmm.
Well, you've been forbidden from doing anything.
It's true.
I suppose you always do what your father tells you to do, right?
120 dinar.
Well, he does speak, wisdom there that he wouldn't
I
want to do.
This is terrible. I can't stand idly by and allow Potter to suffer. He didn't know any better. I'm not bound by the decisions of your father. I'm not even part of this country.
That's true. Technically, neither am I. I mean, but, well... And technically, we're absolute nobodies with no association to anyone whatsoever, aren't we?
Well, you're an absolute
Quite
nobody.
dangerous.
That's true. I'm the
See,
best
by
nobody.
definition, we don't even know your name.
Exactly.
Mr. Nobody.
And of course, I am wont to travel wherever I please and help
Okay,
those in need.
That's part of being anonymous is you can call him whatever name you want and he can't correct you. Isn't that right, Dr. Jerk?
Ugh.
Doctor.
Oh, I wouldn't do that. The character sucks. I can't be mean to people.
Next character you gotta play has to be a real jerk. I don't know which of the the pre-gen characters qualify as a real jerk, but
I can always go with the ambidexterity snake or something.
Hendrik is snarky. Mansoor is just Mansoor is like just remorseless.
Yeah.
He looks humorless. He's not humorless. He's just done.
He's just over it.
Now there's the mood.
He has one of my favorite quotes, which is not that he enjoys killing, it's just really nothing he enjoys more. Yeah, well, crud. No, I say we go at least find out what happened to Potter.
And Raphael will say, I failed him. I failed the lad. I failed you, Connor. If the doctor can patch me up, I will go. I will restore my honor.
I definitely feel like bonking this man on the head, but here's... I'll go ahead and rote some medicine real quick for him. So he gets 3 today for 2 of me, 1 for resting.
Can't we, I mean, Connor, you can come with us in disguise. You can disguise yourself. You got deceit, right?
No.
You've got experience points, right?
Well, Connor, I know that you're terrible at lying, so might I suggest enveloping the truth and becoming, once and for all, a simple man of the cloth with no attachments to authority, power, or wealth. In fact, I know the perfect place you can give all of that wealth to. And, let me just get my wallet here.
Well, he has a
would
point.
like to
Now it's all material.
I would like to point out, I would like to offer 2 goals here. The first is, of course, to rescue Potter and Bruce from the dungeons of the Enclume. The second is a specific goal for our anonymous doctor, which is to actually convert someone to Salumer, because he tries so very hard. There, if you want it.
What? I already converted to Salmera. We're done.
Maybe if you
Renounce-
take piety.
But did he convert you? Is that a thing that I missed?
I was already devout. Why would I change?
Well, so there you go. So that
Well,
doesn't
clearly
count.
what I need to do is get you to fully and formally embrace your devoutness with a piety gift.
Yes, if you can get anyone to take the piety gift, I'll give you insider with, I don't know, nerds, religious fanatics.
Oh, that's good. That's good. But yes, I'll
There's
take it.
a lot of nerds. Then a lot of freaks. The Hyperdulians would probably be the nerds because they're the venerators of saints. But there's also the freaks. I haven't played a Highmore in ages. I promised I'd stop being freaky.
Mhm.
I thought the Athanasians were the nerds.
Who are the nerds?
Athanasians? Am I saying that right?
I don't think so.
Ones that
What do they
believe
do?
that white magic is just like other form of magic.
You mean the Athanasians?
Yeah, that's it.
Oh, well, no, they're the ones who want to synthesize life and death into a state that is superior to both. They're basically people in the church who are also cognoscente. So not so much nerds as jerks.
So what would be combining white magic with thaumaturgy then? Same thing?
Oh, that's the Witchfinders. Those would be jerks. Yeah, that's basically a pro Witchfinder. There isn't really, they don't really have a specific one. Thaumaturgy is not frowned upon. Cognoscente is frowned upon because nobody likes having their mind controlled. People are weird
Nobody.
about that. Can you imagine?
Nobody likes it.
Yeah, man, imagine.
Yeah.
That's why all the books are written anonymously.
Yeah.
Also to
Ghostwriter.
know someone to have power over them. Anyway, so yeah, no, I mean, if Potter really meant something to you, Connor, you'd spend 4 points and buy a rank up to C.
Of course, and I can retrain my new insider to raise that up.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
and
exactly.
then
That's a free
4
5
points.
points.
Buy deceit, and the first time you roll a 1, put it in disguise.
Yeah, probably getting 2, maybe 3 XP this time. That'll give me enough for 1 rank, and then selling back
Excellent.
insider.
Well, then we'll strike your colors. I don't think your wealth is recharged, so we don't need to lean on that. And this,
Oh, it is recharged.
It is. Once you guys
Oh,
got back to Femme
well,
Rouge.
disguise, we won't be able to tap it. So,
Yeah.
actually, if we're in disguise, we won't be able to tap it. But that means that before we go, you could tap it to try and buy a fast coach so we can get out of here. Then we should probably try and get a coachman, since none of your irregulars are coachmen, or coach people, and get someone who can actually drive. That way we can make a swift escape.
That sounds brilliant. If
like a
somehow
plan.
all of this works out, then that's exactly what we'll need.
Although, honestly, now that I think about it, because Connor is making an expenditure to learn deceit, if it's all right, I would like to do a crash course. I'll spend 4 points and I'll learn how to drive.
Ooh, okay.
How hard could it be?
How hard could it be?
1 mark in vehicles. Great. So even though I can travel faster than any of you, I've learned how to drive.
You're
Actually,
a team player.
Poke it. Well, yeah, I don't have the gift of team player, but I'm a team player. I'm also going to poke the doctor here. You know, you could also buy the ability to drive.
I wouldn't be very good at it anyway.
No, but if you a D4 is the botch rule is my favorite rule, or one of my favorite rules in the game. If you have at least an extra die, your odds of rolling all ones go way down.
Way down.
And are you a team player?
No.
Well, you could at least be an assistant coach and help me.
That is
Because
true.
2 of us can sit up there.
At the same time, I'm also trying to save up so I can heal people instantaneously.
I know, but isn't
I
you have
know,
to
it's
make
a tough
that
choice.
I mean, isn't this worth it for Potter, for Connor's brother, for great justice?
You're going to have to actually sit in prayer with me. I guess I'll have to learn something in my old age here.
Oh, yeah, sure, I'll sit in prayer.
Alright. Dear Salumer, I'm about
Fine.
to engage in the most dangerous thing I've ever done, attempting to control yet another vehicle of which I may crash yet again. Please bless my soul before I suddenly perish.
Damn it.
Amen. I'll be in that vehicle.
All right.
Alright.
So yeah,
So that
we'll
is
say
vehicles.
excellent. So we both have the D4. So yeah, so let's go ahead and get our crew. We can travel at night. Connor will strike his colors and thus travel.
Love it.
So and Connor, you're sworn to the Avatar, aren't you?
I think that's a yes.
By
Yes.
silence he agrees. Okay,
Yep,
yes.
that's
Right.
what his family belongs to.
So right. So us doing this is a crime. So if you're caught, you could be accused of treason. So try not to get caught. That's my advice.
We could technically attempt to gain permission to do whatever it takes, and, which would probably be easier than actually asking for assistance, but on the other hand, forgiveness is easier.
Forgiveness is way easier. All right. Let's go. Let's get that bread. Let's go ahead and buy that coach and speed away to Enclume. Which also begs the
Coach?
question of where the dungeons of Enclume are, because um,
In the castle.
they sound incredibly unpleasant.
Usually the donjon is just the tall tower, but in this case the dungeon is literally a basement they seem to have.
Well,
Very close to the water, too.
See, when you're building your forges, at some point you have a problem that heat tends to escape. So you start building them underground, and that gets into a bigger deal because that requires engineering and special tasks. Working in a forge that's underground is incredibly unpleasant. You know where all that carbon dioxide goes? Nowhere.
Nowhere.
Yup.
Your mouth.
But it does bring up to mind, I do have these big, thick claws for some reason as a armadillo, and I can't help but notice they're underground, close to the water level, and it's going to be very soft dirt. It wouldn't be too difficult necessarily to just dig in.
Well, no, because you don't build the forges in soft dirt. You actually build them in fired stone.
Right, well, we'd have to break a wall eventually, but getting to the wall and entering through that way wouldn't necessarily be difficult.
Maybe. I think we'd be better off going through the front door. Did you know there's a rumor going around that Enclume is infested with fire elementals?
Really? Oh,
Yeah.
whew.
I mean, it might just be a rumor because people just make crap up all the time.
If only we had an elementalist who could speak with them.
Well, we don't, so this will be fine. It could just be filled with people with the best gun steel in the entire world.
Oh, right, getting shot at by guns. That's not going to be fun.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, the Avatar usually don't have guns. They usually have big honking ultra great swords.
Yeah.
Like a certain person we know.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
So-
Off doing who knows what.
I'm imagining full-on Dark Souls level ultra great swords now. Ugh.
None of us have forgery, so we're gonna have to I guess we're just gonna have to pretend to be a coach service.
Yeah, coach service, we're just a bunch of commoners.
Okay. Let's get this roll going then. You guys travel the 3 days to Enclume. I assume without telling Connor's father, because he would not have it.
I imagine as soon as we slip out in the middle of the night, there's just a scene of him coming up to Winter going, Connor, come back!
So
I'm getting the belt.
Sorry?
We were able to buy the coach, all right.
Yeah, if you're gonna expend your wealth gift, Connor, the coach is not a problem.
Right. The only problem with this is his father could trace this. Like, where's my stupid son? Where's my only living son? Not here.
No, he's got another one. Arthur is out somewhere doing
Jesus,
something.
Perfect. Let's go.
There you
And the
go.
coach comes with the driver, right?
Hmm?
We were getting a driver with the coach, or we were just excluding that and
We're
doing it
driving.
ourselves now?
We bought vehicles. You and I are driving.
Okay. And this would be a coach with 2 drays, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna just mark that as party loot.
Cool.
And we can put our regulars in it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of irregulars, I wrote his name down. Hold on. Where are we going here? Speaking of irregulars, I love this name, but I can't remember it. Cellino, the male cattle mercenary, is on board for this adventure. He says, "I've never broken into an avoirdupois dungeon before, but it sounds like a good old time. It will cost you 8 denarii, however,
And
for
that's
the risk."
exactly the kind of thing you're going to say after you break into the dungeon, because you're not going to tell people we committed treason.
Yeah.
Also, you're an irregular. That means you get a share of the loot, but you're just hanging out like the rest of us.
Gotcha. Well, what's the loot look like in this scenario?
Anything we can get out of the dungeon. We're breaking into Enclume, which could mean the best gun steel and body armor available in the entire world.
All right. Okay. That's intriguing. If we're just gonna find a bunch of smelly, emaciated prisoners, he doesn't want any share of that. But if you're promising gun steel, then
Yep.
yeah.
I mean,
You're
basically,
after
the
that.
irregulars are like other members of the party, except the joke used to be we have the word PC branded on our forehead. That they know
Yeah.
PC, but in the real world, everyone's the hero of their own story. So the irregulars just a bunch of losers who show up like every other, like only show up at random play sessions. So if there's
Yeah.
a battle, he gets some of the loot. But another reason, is they're not paid hirelings, which means they can just disappear because they
Yeah.
might go get it.
So far, yeah, I guess that makes sense. So far, all of the irregulars that Connor has had have had kind of a loyalty bend to them. At least we've been playing them that way because they're his countrymen. I want to hammer home that this guy's not doing this out of the goodness of his heart, out of just pure charity. But
Yeah.
He'll want a share of the money, and he'll probably skim money on the side. I mean, I always emphasize that stuff the players buy should work, because also, like, I know some players,
Yeah.
I mean, we're cool, because Arcloyd and Griffin, you guys are cool, right?
Yeah, we're cool.
you're cool.
Yeah. But some players get upset if, like, their henchmen can't be trusted. So we can trust these guys. They're on our side, but they might also do things that are not in our best interests. They won't do it, they won't betray us, but I would not be surprised if the mercenary goes and, rob somebody or kill someone for money. I mean, he is a mercenary.
I mean, they're going to be in a castle full of valuables.
Right. In other words, if stuff gets difficult, they'll ditch us, and we expect that.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah, Connor would basically say, when we return, my father would likely take the ransom he would have had to have paid for Bruce, and he'll pay it off, or at least part of it off, to those who helped save him that money.
there you go. More money than you could possibly imagine. Now let's go save Potter every day. Is day we're not saving Potter. I would also suggest to the GM that you should probably make us roll to drive this wagon, because we've never done this before.
Well, we are in
could.
open
I don't know
ground, and we do have 2 dice each now.
We could. I don't know what the fail state looks like, but if you'd like to, we can.
Let's roll and not suck. Hey, Doctor, would you
Yeah.
like to assist me?
Absolutely.
Well, long drives are usually mined and vehicles, because we're not moving at a breakneck pace as in the video game.
Here's my attempt to drive, and hey, I've assisted you with a D8.
Yep, one success. We managed to not screw up majorly as we're driving, but we do spend a lot of time yelling at each other because basically I didn't pass the roll except for your assistance bonus.
Yep. Anushka, you're learning that these.
They don't slow down. Why aren't you
No,
slowing
go
down?
left around the rock, not right. Left.
You're the stick. Oh, fuck.
That's the tray.
No,
You've
you're
learned that-
upsetting Jesse. How could you?
You gave
You've
them
learned
name?
that Jesse is temperamental.
Which one's John? I thought the other one was Jess.
No, that one's Jonathan.
Why did you give them? Oh, that's right. You gave them boys' names because they're gelded. Anyway, I knew we should have spent extra and gotten the whip. The stick sucks.
All right. For anyone who's riding in the carriage portion of this, it's a bumpy ride, but you
Mhm.
do get where you're going. Are
Do we want to just say Harmon's quote in the carriage and we're just throwing a blanket over him?
Is Harmon here? I wonder if he's maybe not doing mercenary work somewhere else.
It's possible maybe he could just pursue his own goal back in Fairmont Rouge for next
Yeah,
session.
I would assume he's not with us, especially because I wanted this to be clandestine and quick.
And specifically, Carmen is not clandestine.
Harmon is neither.
Truth. All
So,
right.
so apparently we make it. During
Are
which
you bringing?
Oh, what? Sorry.
Are you bringing Raphael, the injured irregular? He does want to come, but he is injured.
If he wants to come, he's an irregular. I think we would let him. But like I said, usually injured people just disappear. They're irregulars.
It's true. He feels personally guilty for the capture of Potter, and it's really on Connor to tell him to stay home if he doesn't want him to come.
There's like 8 people on this thing, so sure.
Yeah. What do you guys think? I think we should tell him to stay home.
What's his career?
He's a soldier.
Oh yeah, definitely. Here, hold this crossbow and guard the wagon. We could just leave him in the wagon when we park
There you
it.
go. And each day then I will go ahead and give him 2 extra quota, so he'll have 3 total each day while we're driving.
All right. And it's a 3-day trip which means 9. So he's on his way.
Yeah, he's like halfway there now.
Yeah. All right.
We could possibly pick up some extra money by picking up extra fares, but we don't because we're in a hurry.
Right. Okay. And in the distance on the 3rd day, you can make out the tall plumes of smoke billowing up from Enclume.
Our skies blackened with progress.
Yes, and you smell the fires and the mineral scent of the underground subterranean smiths that kind of belch out over this town.
And the 8 different kinds of carcinogens.
Yeah.
If only I knew what a carcinogen was.
Carcinogens giving me more and more work to do. It's great.
Exactly. You think that you could probably rustle up some good business here, Doctor.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, as you approach, let's get this deceit going. You guys have taken some points in it. Anyone who wants to hide in the back of the cart may do so. Anybody who is riding up front, though, is going to have to make this check. So let's do will and deceit as you're trying to pass yourselves off as just common taxi service.
Hello. Yes, we are bonded back in Triskellion to travel freely because bonding and taxes are a thing in a civilized world. This is not, we're not an illegal mission in any way. Back me up on this, Doc.
Oh, I can't back you up on that, but Connor will.
Yep.
I have one success to convince the people at the gate when we pay our toll to get in, because there is a toll. That we're just here dropping people off. It's what you do. We're new.
Right. I love that, like, Anushka's just prattling on and they're looking at her like, okay, and then she just goes, we're new.
We're new.
Sorry. They look to one another, they say like, all right, Yes, you can go through. We'll have to know how many people you're transporting. Would you mind opening up the back, please? One of them
Oh yeah,
goes right
sure.
to the rear.
Connor totally passed the deceit check. You believe he's this is Schmoner, a commoner who just happens to carry lots of really good gear.
Yeah, it's kind of a motley crew in the back there.
We just use the real names for their regulars. These are just losers off the street. No one knows who they are.
Yeah, for at least entering in, like, they could just take off their gear, put it in a bag, put it in the wagon or whatever, and, yeah.
Damn, none of that worked.
You
Yeah.
just can't win for losing. All right. Connor, as they peek in the back and they're just they're just trying to get like a head count. How many of you are there? Names of all of the passengers. Connor, what name are you going to give them?
Cooper.
Cooper. All right. The one of the guards, he kind of like fixes you with a look, like he's trying to make up his mind about something. In the end, he shrugs and he'll wave you on. He says, "All right, let them through." And as you pass by, you think you can see him whispering to another guard. It would appear that perhaps, even if your cover is not blown, you have raised suspicions. But you are now inside the town, the city of Enclume and Enclume, and you can see on the far side from where you are now, there is a sort of squat, utilitarian-looking castle of sorts. Once again, there are these large, basically vent towers that direct the smoke from the underground mines above the heads of the commoners, but this whole town has kind of a dark and gritty, sooty feel to it. All of the buildings carry this dark stain from the black smoke that is continually belching out. You can see that there are entrances, subterranean entrances nearby the castle proper, although it looks like there is a moat of sorts around it, which means that being able to burrow your way into the dungeons would totally depend on how deep these smith mines go.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah, I wouldn't. Burrowing is. We want to go in the front door.
Right.
First of all, we want to find out if Potter's even here.
Right, so I suppose the first thing we want to do is just catch up on the local gossip then.
Plus, also, right. There's also the rumor that. I'm concerned about Potter, but I suppose Connor actually cares if his brother's alive or dead. What about you? What do you care about?
He's on about both. But yeah, his brother is more dear to him if he had to choose.
All right.
Okay.
So we have to find. Do any of us have contacts with the police or anything like that?
Nope.
And then Clume.
I would think if Bruce was being held for ransom or for trial, they put him in someplace nicer than the dungeon. But all right, well, I've got gossip, so I can just go ahead and ask
All right.
around.
Anyone who wants to gossip, go for it.
Yeah.
And all
let's do.
your hangers on are soldiers and mercenaries, right?
Yes.
Well, they won't be any help then.
Yeah, take a TA to assist though.
Oh, thank you. Let's see where. There we go.
I could give you an extra D8 if I use my gossip.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Just don't roll all ones and expose yourself.
Hey.
All right. So we
2d8.
canvass, the three of us split up and canvass the city, despite the fact that we're outliers. Just asking nice gossip, like, hey, we run a coach service completely above board. Say, do you know about any dungeons?
All
And
right.
so is
Nice.
4 successes from 3 of us canvassing this. What are you doing? I'm on the internet.
Not now. All right.
now,
4
I'm on the internet.
successes.
Yeah. So we might so 1 success would tell us anything anyone would know. 2 successes would tell us something only a local would know, and 3 or more would give us insight into special information.
Gotcha. All right. Well, here's what Connor will discover. Connor, as you ask around, there are certainly rumors that currently there is a Levure hostage taken, And although it is assumed that he's being kept in a, in the castle proper, you know better than that. But most of the people who will discuss it with you are sort of like, well, they deserved it. They stole our secrets. This is common knowledge among the Enclume that the Lavour, the Femme Rouge Smiths have been jealous of them for generations at this point. Um, and that you can't trust those sneaky raccoons. And then, they'll say apologetically, like, no offense to you, sir. Um,
Monday.
as for the doctor, you have heard whisperings that oh, hold on, let me just think about this for a second.
Take your time.
Yeah. All right. You've heard that the mines, the smiths are constantly being trafficked in and out of. There's many people who will go down there to actually, mine or transport materials in and out. And because of this, they're not heavily guarded. They're easy enough to get down into. And yeah, you hear some when you try to ask about the fire elementals. Everyone's kind of no one can confirm it, but you get the sense that most people believe that yes, there are actually fire elementals down there. Or it's maybe like an urban legend, but it's one that everyone will be very engaged with and proud of. Um,
So then, if there aren't fire elementals, do they use prison labor instead? I mean, it
oh,
has to be them then, right?
Well, it could
they
also be just
probably do that too. Sorry.
I said it could also be just attracted fire elementals because it's like a constantly burning fire.
Well, I suppose so.
Also
Yeah.
a possibility.
They will say that for those of them that have worked down there, that it is a hellish sight. Um, it's impossible to breathe. There's it's incredibly aggressively hot.
Mhm.
And it's basically only for the strong of heart and for those who find their calling in forging. Not forgery, but forging, mind you. All right. So last but most impressively, Anushka, you're asking around, and you have heard another rumor, which is most disconcerting. People have identified you as a Triskellion native by your accent, and they said, "Oh, at first we mistook you. We thought that you might be one of the drivers for the Jakoba emissaries that had been visiting. Some people had spotted them around town. A group of obvious Triskellion knights in the service of His Majesty. You can always tell them by their particularly rich and fancy looking armor, which Anushka you have seen firsthand. The dog knights that have served under De La Vega that you encountered at Mage Cross. The descriptions seem to match, and they say that there are currently talks between the Enclume and Vaslov's people. They are expecting the delivery of this sainted Rinaldi sword, which they expect is going to usher in a new age of swordsmithing and military technology.
Oh, neat. So do we know when that's scheduled to happen?
Yes, you know that they arrived into town recently, and
Oh,
one person who is I guess, a herald, some sort of low-ranking officer who's arranging these kinds of meetings, has arranged a stay for them within the castle grounds, and they assume
great.
that they'll be staying for several days.
There's extra security, but out of all of this, we learn basically a lot of things we already knew, but nothing about a rumor of that Bruce is being held for ransom or any sightings of Potter.
Yeah, you know that Bruce is being held for ransom, although most people don't think he's in the dungeon. No word about Potter.
Okay, well, it sounds like I mean, when I rendezvous with our friends and we like share stories. Okay, so Bruce is probably somewhere in the castle, which has extra security because Della Vega is here. Rolls my
Mhm.
and so getting Bruce out would be difficult. if Potter were here, he's probably working underground in the forges,
I
and we'd have to go.
guess I guess we do have Raphael here, and we can ask specifically. So, what was the route you and Potter took? Where did you go, and what did you accomplish?
Mm. Well, we had heard that there are secret tunnels from one of the nearby smiths. It's quite a ways below the surface, very hard to breathe. But
Hmm.
after asking around, we managed to find, uh, well, a worker that we could bribe to show us a secret passage into and beneath the castle. It was hard going. We got lost on more than one occasion, but we did find our way into um, basically the subterranean quarters of the castle. There were where the servant quarters, essentially, where the servants were working and toiling for the castle staff. We were managed to slip by them and discover the entrance to the dungeon, um, which is, well, guarded,
Hmm.
as we found out shortly after making contact with Bruce.
I see. I see. So then we do have at least two options. When you were there, did it seem like the forge is connected to the dungeons in the castle, or...
It's connected to the servant quarters of the castle, which from there you can get into the dungeons. Yeah,
Okay, so multiple ways in. That's good.
and out. This is important.
Mm-hmm. So what do we think our plan here is?
I suppose we're going to have to go underground and look for Potter.
Yes.
I mean, they have work crews down there. I imagine both indentured and free. So I think the easiest way would be to get a job, which any of these, beautiful, strapping, handsome men who are no stranger to physical labor, I say, pointing at our entourage here. But then again, I don't think any of you are actually people.
Uh,
Free, right? None of you are people
None of
persons.
you are
Sorry,
peoples.
totally people persons.
I mean, I have negotiation. I could definitely go ahead and say, like, hey, we're stopping in town for a while and we don't have any carriage service for a bit. Can we make some money just moving heavy stuff?
Well,
Yeah,
I'm sure
you.
we could get a job down there. It wouldn't be that hard. The hard part would be finding Potter,
Hmm.
especially if Potter is a prisoner. Then he would be kept somewhere. It's not public knowledge that they use prison labor or indentured labor, but
Mm.
they have to. It's the freaking Middle Ages.
Right.
Um, so, because that's the only place Potter would be. They don't run there's no prisons in the Middle Ages of putting people in a place to rehabilitate them. You either do something with them or execute them.
Hmm. Hmm.
Um,
Yeah, I was about to make that point too. It's like, yeah, we'll cut off your hand, get back to work, get out of here.
but we'd have to send someone down there to identify him. And the problem is that I don't think any of these do any of our random hangers on even know what Potter looks like?
I mean, Raphael does. He's the injured one that you said to stick by the carriage with the
Hire
crossbow.
Raphael. Yeah, Raphael's not going to get hired because he's injured.
Hmm.
I know
Fair
what
point.
Potter. So, what about you, Doc?
Oh, I mean, I've been with Potter before. I know what he looks like. Yes.
I suppose the two of us would have to get jobs in the mines, or sneak in there and look around.
I think we could definitely work our way in.
Yes.
Whereas Connor, if you want to find your brother in the palace, you're the only one I think who do you have etiquette or you're just blooded?
I do have etiquette.
You could, in theory, schmooze your way into the palace if you can be sly about it.
But it's
And
also
find your
full of the people likeliest to recognize Connor for exactly who he is.
that's a huge problem. So, and I feel bad because I'm here to rescue Potter. So, if,
Hmm.
I mean, one of us could go infiltrate the castle and look for. Okay, you're gonna hate me. I apologize for this. Anonymous doctor, you should go in the mines pretending that you work there
Hmm.
because you have gossip, right?
That's right.
And inquiry, right?
Yes.
You should go in the mines looking for Potter, because you can infiltrate and ask questions, and you could just be there applying charity. And also, you are anonymous, which means people trying to remember who you are will have some difficulty.
Right. So I think that's great. So, Connor,
Also, so you're a subterranean. I should go to the palace and ask questions about them because I'm a messenger. I can wander freely around palaces. People expect me to be in certain public areas because you just grab some random person and give them a note and send them on their way. So I might be able to do that. I guess I could bring Connor with me, but Connor, you did put some points in deceit, right?
Yes. If we got our gift during this session, we trained it, and now I have 1 point in deceit.
So if anyone recognizes you, can cover. Do you think anyone's going to recognize you?
You did recall that. I mean,
they did
the
literally
gates
come
at
to
the
your
front.
home, meet you, and have a big trial.
Right.
Right.
There were representatives who did, and those people would probably be in the palace. And
Yeah, that's the only problem I have with bringing you in there is like in game terms, one success would defeat someone who didn't really care. Like if you just showed up and scored one success in a deceit, they would go, "Oh yeah, you're just some nobody." But people who know you, you'd have to get 2 successes because they would be familiar with you. And if you can't get 2 successes on a deceit check, that could be difficult. So there could be risks. And if a fight breaks out or someone tries to take you, we would have to run because we're not taking up steel against your taking up steel against your kin is not only would further the crime, but also I can't fight.
Right.
I could barely beat up a wizard. So how do you feel? You want to come with me into the palace?
Yes.
All right. In which case, I would ask you to assist me since you have etiquette and knowledge of palace ways. You would assist me, and I would be the front person. And you're not that distinctive, right? You're not like a giant or anything, right?
No.
well, no. Are you fully clad in your armor?
I'd say
that
if
might be
we're
distinctive.
not trying to fight, he'd either be in some sort of robes if we had any left over from the party.
You can send you robes you want. Here, dress like a sorcerer. This won't be distinctive at all.
Right, we sold their books, but I mean, like, the robes, like, take up no space. Here, just have them.
This isn't
We
even
can
the
dress
first time
you
that
in
you.
commoner.
Yeah.
Okay,
This isn't the
so
first
is
time
your
that you've
plan-
disguised yourself as a
Is your
person
plan
who
to
is
put
robed.
Yeah, is your plan to put robes on over your armor?
Yes.
Okay, so that means you could wear 2 layers, 1 layer of robes and 1 layer of armor. What's the armor you got?
Aluminum.
Bulky.
Okay, so you're going to wear a robe over aluminum armor and keep a low profile. Sounds like fun.
Right.
Sounds like a penalty die to me, but yes, something you can do.
And in my case, I am definitely not wearing my armor when I go to negotiate basic work.
Yeah, so the problem is this aluminum armor is really a beacon. Can we just put you in leather or something else?
All right. It's
Do you even
fine.
have some leather lying around anymore?
We can get leather. It's average cost.
Yeah.
Mm.
I mean, I'm
Yeah.
sure we could swap armor. You could swap armor with what's the name of the wounded guy? I keep forgetting his name.
Raphael.
Raphael. It's not Rodolfo. It's Raphael. It's not Raphael.
Yeah.
It's Raphael. Here, swap armor with Raphael. I'm sure he'll appreciate being in invulnerable moon armor.
All right.
So
He
I
does.
guess
He says he'll try not to bleed on your armor too much.
you better
Alright, so
not
we'll just
bleed. I
roll around in
bandaged
the
you
vat of
up.
vinegar.
So, I guess
Okay,
since we're in
so-
2 parties, yeah, which one's gonna go first?
Which one's gonna go first? Let's start with the doctor, because
Okay.
right now you're kind of on a fact-finding mission, doctor. So that should
Yep.
be a simple roll. You would like to use gossip, mind gossip to infiltrate.
Well,
the
I
lay
mean,
of the
I'm
land.
trying to get work, so I'd probably go there and try to negotiate for it.
Okay, that's fine
Okay.
too. We can start with that.
Connor, how many of your people do I have here?
Hmm.
You
So
could
you could
take
have-
go for it.
What's his name? Cell with you. Shell.
Okay, perfect.
Chileno.
So, well, I'm
I
gonna.
think you should take okay, nah, maybe not everybody then. Okay, take sell.
Okay, that's fine. So I will go and try to. We did a bunch of gossip, so I should at least know of someone I could maybe speak to who has some responsibility here, and open up
Yeah.
the negotiations with, hey, we're here staying in town, and we need enough money to continue to pay for our stay, until we happen to get a carriage through. I have with me one of my associates who is strong and able to work and is ready to work down in the mines to his best of his capabilities while he's here to earn a bit of extra cash. And to sweeten the deal, I myself am a trained doctor, and I am willing to offer my services pro bono while I'm here, so long as you provide some of the bandages that I'll need, because I'm sure as a mine, plenty of people get regularly injured, scraped, cut, bruised, injured, and are probably hacking up their lungs.
Let's yeah, let's get a roll.
Yeah. So as a negotiation, it seems pretty straightforward to me. What would you call the role here? Negotiation and mind or will?
Mm, I feel like mind you're making a very reasoned
Hmm.
offer. Chell is not being much help. He says yo when he's introduced, and
He's
after
not a
that
mercenary with
nods.
haggling or anything, is he?
He is. He is haggling.
I
Alright.
assume he does have haggling, yeah. If you
Okay.
That's really for pricing though, right? When you're trying to like negotiate prices.
I guess. I'm just looking for reasons for maybe him to give me an assist die. And of course, I'm offering a deal heavily weighted in the favor of the person I'm negotiating with.
That's true. I would give you a D8 bonus for the ridiculous like offer that you're giving, but not any from him.
Okay. Well, before even doing anything else, I already have 3 successes. I have made a very good argument in my favor here that we can start
Yeah.
working.
This guy says, "Oh God. I guess Salumer must have sent you and your rather burly friend. Um,
I
truth
wouldn't.
be
I
told,
definitely would claim that they're like guides me to this day.
well, I'll tell you, we've got a position we could use you for. I don't know if you'll actually want to take it or not. This guy's an armadillo too, by the way. He
Hmm.
looks very dirty.
Armadillo
And he's
solidarity. There we go.
he's wearing like a padded like leather hard hat. Not
Hmm.
really a hard hat, but what they have. Um,
Yeah.
and he's got yeah. So he says, we have a group of well, prison labor that is currently mining rather deep. We've had several cave-ins.
Hmm.
Um, a lot of them are busted up, so we could reinforce them. Now, you've made a very generous offer. I hate to saddle you with a bunch of well, prison scum, but that's the job, that's the work we're looking for now, and we would reimburse you for your medical skills, certainly. It is quite generous of you, but we're not running charities here,
Oh,
so
of course, of course. And of course, I mean, as you said, they are scum, but even those furthest from the light must receive some of it if they are ever to become like us, good, honest citizens.
well, that is your department, Father.
Hmm.
Uh, I don't pretend to understand rehabilitation or even to believe in it. My job is just to get the precious rocks out of the mud and dirt. So, anyway, here is the he'll give you the directions to
Hmm.
this particular corner where they're mining in, and as you make your way down there, it's not as claustrophobic for you as it is for your friend Chell,
Hmm.
who begins to immediately
What
start
species
to
are they anyway?
cattle. He's
Cattle.
cattle.
Oh yeah, so it's gonna be terrible.
He's coughing. He's just hacking up a lung. Any hopes you had at being stealthy are gone, since everyone you pass by gives you looks as this
Hmm.
obvious surface dweller is having a real hard time down here. You, however, on the other hand, you feel kind of cozy. Feel sort of warm and cozy down here.
This is
Um,
nice. I have walls on every angle. I'm completely defended, and I don't have to worry about anything. It's great.
Totally. There's the warm, comforting smell of dirt everywhere you go. Um, and it's mostly dark down here. A lot of it is illuminated by these forge fires or by
Hmm.
um enclosed torches.
Maybe they give us a lantern too or something just while we're here
Yeah.
walking around. Yeah.
Certainly, certainly. So, you pass by several winding warren-like corridors that are abandoned, but you can see at one point were used for mining, and you can hear in the distance the metallic ting, ting, and the shifting clanking of chains. And as you round the corner, you come across a chain gang, essentially, of 5 individuals. All of them look to be either horses with horribly scarred backs, look like they've been whipped. And at the far end, weakly lifting a hammer, you can make out the prickly visage of Potter, who looks rather worse for the wear, as he laboriously drops this hammer on a large rock hunk of some sort of coal, just chipping like the slightest fragment off the side of it, frowning, and then struggling with the hammer to bring it down once again for a centered hit.
Right. So he definitely seems a bit distracted. So
Hmm.
what I definitely want to try to do is go ahead and start doing my bit of work, which was going to be to start providing medical aid to these people and probably start asking them things too, because when I'm asking them things while I'm healing them, I get a bonus.
Right.
But when I get to Potter, I am definitely going to try to urge him to contain himself as much as possible.
I should also mention, and this is kind of an important detail, there is a single guard for this gang, who seems completely disinterested in what's going on. He's I need a good subterranean critter. Or maybe he's a vole, right?
Yeah.
And he's got it looks like he has a whip, but he's doing some, I don't know, puzzles on a piece of paper or something by lantern light while these guys are toiling away behind him. When you reach Potter, he instinctively flinches as you approach. But he turns around and stifles a cry of relief and excitement as he sees you. And
Yeah.
he says, Doctor, oh, you wouldn't believe the tortures, the torment. Oh, Connor's not, Sir Connor's not with you, is he?
Not a single word, but I do have a few questions. Everything will be fine, I assure you, Potter.
He zips the lip. He nods.
Yeah. And of course, I will go ahead and press him for a few questions while I'm dealing with him, which is, of course, is where did they take you? Do you know where Bruce is, etc. And get sort of that information going.
Yes.
And of course, while I'm also trying to tend to his wounds, I'm sure he's injured at this point.
He's lost a couple clumps of spines, porcupine quills. It looks like he has been whipped. He does have some healed cuts on his back. And yeah, and just general malnourishments. Like, it looks like he can barely lift this hammer, which is the smallest hammer in the chain gang, but he's having trouble. So he will confess that he did find Bruce. He thinks that he can navigate you back into the castle. He tells you that they found a secret passage. He fears he does not know what became of Raphael, but he might have escaped. But if they have him, they're keeping him in a different chain gang. And he has not seen him in the week since he was, or the day since he was captured.
You won't have to worry of Raphael. He is safe and with us. He told us everything.
At this, tears come to Potter's eyes. He looks down and says, I was so stupid. To think I could help. I'm so happy that he's alive, though.
Yeah, I'll just give him a little pat on his shoulder. It's like, it's all right. I did plenty of stupid things in my youth, too. Once I was part of a gang, actually, but a different time, different story, right?
Yeah, he says, like, I'd love to hear about it, good doctor. But
You'll hear plenty
perhaps you
about
could
it.
help me escape first. And he gestures to the chains.
Yeah, and for now I will say, for now I cannot break your chains, but if you are but patient and hold strong, we shall come for you.
Yeah. His lip quivers. He looks like he's about to just burst out into tears, but
Mhm.
something is holding him back, possibly the threat of further whip violence.
Right.
But he sort of straightens up a little bit.
Mhm.
He says, Of course, of course." And at that point, Chell, the large, coughing cattle, will walk over and he'll say, like, "Here you go, little guy. I got this." And he brings down his own warhammer that he's been traveling with and just smashes this coal into like a million little fragments. And he goes like, "Huh, I think I need a bigger rock." Uh, but yeah, he'll be there to help out with that.
Right. And so, like I said, I'm also dealing with all of them. I guess I'm looking at the guard occasionally, say like, yeah, I'm taking this one away or whatever. He's probably given the go-ahead and doesn't care anymore.
Yeah, the guard
Uh,
just grunts. Couldn't
yeah,
care less.
yeah. I mean, as long as he's not unhappy, everything's fine. So dealing with them each, and of course, I'll be asking the prisoners different questions about their injuries and about things around them, because while I'm dealing with them, I can just go ahead and gossip.
Yeah, if you'd like to give me one more gossip roll, you may.
Okay. So, I got my 2d6 gossip, and because I'm doing medicine on them and asking things about their injuries as well, I can go ahead and roll the d12 with that gossip check. So we got that, and we have that. So we have 2 successes to talk them up while I deal with them.
All right. Here's what you hear. Some of these individuals admit that they had been kept in the dungeon alongside Bruce before they were transported to work detail. They
Mm-hmm.
said that Bruce was not transported, as specifically because they heard the guards talking and saying that he was an important hostage.
Mm-hmm.
Initially, he was intended to be ransomed, but one of the guards had mentioned that. Um, the one of the emissary, the captain of the guard of the Jakoba throne, specifically had a run-in with Bruce's close relative, and upon hearing that they had him in captivity, he had decided to add the capture of one Connor, Bruce's brother, to the list of to the price of this Rinaldi sword.
Mm-hmm.
To that end, they said that rumors had been begun to spread in hopes to entrap Connor,
Mm-hmm.
who has made a reputation of himself for being sort of a brash, adventure-seeking knight.
Brash and adventure seeking? No, definitely not. He would never do something so foolish. But they are ransoming off, which is interesting, just to someone else. Isn't that fun?
Yeah, essentially. Um, so yeah, none of these men have seen the emissaries, but they've heard tales that he's a frightful visage, an albino jackal,
Mm-hmm.
who shows no mercy to his enemies.
Hmm. Well, this is very interesting. I'm sure the rest of them would love to know. I've never heard of this jackal before, but he definitely sounds very important if he's the captain to the Rinaldi throne. So I guess that's essentially what I've been doing here. I have a bunch of information. I've assured Potter, and yeah, working day goes on. Eventually, we'll leave and we'll reconvene with everyone else.
Okay. We're gonna jump back over, but looks like Arcloid just recently asked for a quick break. So even though this is gonna be break number
Well, at
3,
the
I
same
think I'm
time,
gonna ask
Connor
for
is
one
just
too.
hiding right now, and Anushka is driving the scene.
That's a fair point. Well, I'm gonna ask for this break for my own personal
Yo, that's fine. That's
bathroom
fine.
break.
All right.
So
So we'll go
quick
ahead
one.
and do a quick break and